Hey guys, welcome back to the garden again. I've had another load of horse manure and I am in the process of making a fortress of poop, which I think is quite amazing. Today I'm going to talk some more about soil and soil health and soil degradation and what you can do to amend it, because right now we have so many amazing examples of different stages of soil degradation and re-enlivenment. So this soil has been conventionally farmed, and I want to start out with saying that I'm not pointing my fingers at anyone. We have the conventional farming that we collectively have agreed upon in a way, and I'm just going to show you the result of overworking the soil and not putting back organic material. So I would say that this is actually good farming soil. So it's heavy clay and you can work that with machines and you can grow a lot of things in this soil, especially wheat and barley and other things like that. But it's been a long time since I think anyone gave back some of all the organic material that's harvested every year. So this means that this soil is probably maybe only 4% at the most, I think 4% of organic material. And I know it's very dry now, and it also means that it looks perhaps worse than it is. But it's very dry, it's very hard, and for me, if I'm not using machines, it would be very hard for me to grow anything in this. And if I take some soil like this, you see the soil has no structure. I can do like this, and there's no worms. No, it still has moisture because it's clay. So fortunately, that means that the nutrients stay. Well, that's fortunate in some ways if you want to grow stuff. And the moisture is also retained, but you see there's no structure. When you look at soil and when you assess the soil, one way to do it is that you take a handful like this and you try to make a sausage. And if the sausage, it's like it's not really sticking and you can easily, so we are getting closer and closer to this being dirt. Meaning that actually it's just silt and sand and not much else. And clay, of course. And so it's just to give you a feeling of what overworking and not putting back any organic material looks like. And we can still maybe harvest from this, but maybe in 20 years' time or 30 years' time, it would be harder and even more degraded. So this is our starting point. Really, I'm not pointing my fingers. This is good soil, and in many other places it's worse than this. But these are the conventional farming practices, in my opinion, that's doing this. So I mean, feeding the soil, all of this horse manure is really making me so happy. So it's going to bring back structure, bacteria, worms, organic material, organic matter, of course, and it'll loosen the soil, and it will fill it with lots of different life forms, you could say, but especially bacteria and worms, of course. I can't find any worms. I think they've gone all the way down to the bottom because it's just it's been windy and warm. So, but doing this and putting it on top of the soil like this is one of the ways I have rebuilt the soil in the food forest, and this is part of what I'm going to do in this vegetable garden. when I first started in the food forest doing this practice, just feeding the soil, wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow of organic matter, all kinds of things, not only horse manure, cow manure, chicken manure, sheep manure, what else did I do? Lots of wool, lots of compost, lots of seaweed. So organic matter in all forms, to also bring back diversity in the soil, and different nutrients and minerals. So when I first started doing this, I put like a layer like this on top of the soil. I didn't work it down into the soil. I allowed that to happen. And it would take maybe 8-9 months for this to be incorporated into the soil, because there was less soil life in the garden. But as I progressed with this re-enlivening the soil, it took maybe 3 months in the end to put something like this, and then 3 months would pass and you couldn't see that I had added this much organic matter. So worms and bacteria and other beings are constantly working like they are with all the leaves that fall in fall. They are working that into the soil in many different ways. Quite amazing. And I'm so curious about this process. I think it's magic. It's kind of magic, and then stuff grows out of this. So I'm excited about this, and it's not a bad starting point, but it's just very different from the soil I've been working with in the food forest for now about 15 years. So I'd like to show you just examples of what it looks like now, after 13, 14, 15 years of working with the soil, because it has a different structure, it has a different smell also, and different color. And one thing I forgot to say about the soil that's almost like dirt now, especially when it's this dry, is that there are no small pockets of air inside the soil. So, and these pockets of air are needed, they are needed for oxygenation, of course, but they are also needed for the roots and the water to move through the soil. So if you have very compacted soil, it's less great at growing stuff. This bed, I don't know, maybe it's 5-6 years old, but you can already see I just built on top of the grass, but you can already see that it's different. It has a different color, it has a different structure. You can see that it has little pockets of air where the stuff can move through, water, bacteria, worms, and it doesn't break up so easily. I think it looks really rather nice. And if I'm going to make my own test, it's still quite dry, but if I make my own test, you see that oh, sorry, sorry, darling, to disturb. You see that it actually turns into not a firm and not a wet sausage, but like it's holding a shape, and I can break it up again. So it's just to say that there are so many easy ways to feed the soil, and to really understand the different layers and the different workings, the different beings that are living in the soil and that are doing the work for you. So I don't have to work the soil. All the beings in there are doing it. I'm just feeding it, like I would feed my cat and myself. I'm feeding the soil, and it makes me happy. It has been one of the most glorious discoveries for me in my life, that I can actually feed the soil, and in return it feeds me with all these kinds of things that are growing and thriving, and I'm not really needing to do a lot of things. So this is sweet cicely. We eat that every day now, and it's no work. the soil built itself up with the feeding that I gave it, and now it's just giving us back like this. So I'm excited to see and to show you the process of re-enlivening the new piece of land that we have, and we will do that in different ways, and I will explain and document if you're curious about this. And it's a beautiful Sunday, so I thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.